What's up, everybody? Welcome to another video. Welcome to Saya's Domain, where we talk a lot about politics as well as the entertainment industry, because you and I both know that the entertainment industry is dribbling with a lot of politics. Now, a couple of days ago, I made a video about Black Lives Matter, protesting in front of car mines. And Black Lives Matter did suggest a whole lot of things on the day that, the ladies that were separated or that were not allowed in were experiencing some kind of a segregation as a result of the vaccine mandates. And they protested on the day against the restaurant, although they also did mention, I can't remember her name, but she's related to Hawk Newsome, maybe the wife or sister, I don't know, said something about how disproportionate the policies of the mandates are affecting Black people as compared to everybody else. I did also give you guys a lot of data regarding this, showing that only 10% of people as at September the 8th, only 10% of Black people had actually been vaccinated. I think there have been more now, but still it's disproportionate compared to other races. Now, this leads me to Ibram X Kendi. Ibram X Kendi is somebody who is a social justice warrior for Black people. Matter of fact, this guy has made it a lifelong mission to actually correct all the wrongs of the past. He has said that all whites don't just have to not be racist if they want to change things, they have to become anti-racist. And that is by absorbing themselves of whiteness, if that's even possible. But anyway, Ibram X Kendi is of the opinion that if there is any policy whatsoever that affects Black people disproportionate to other races, is a racist policy. Basically, that is what he believes. And he has said this on an interview on Time Magazine. And he has said this a lot, in a lot of places where he has been holding his conferences. And so recently he was posed with this very question about the vaccine mandate. And brother had a brain fart while trying to answer this question. Take a look.
The question is, and I think I'm understanding it correctly, that any policy or potential policy that would have a disparate racial impact is a racist policy. So if that's correct, then would vaccine mandates that disproportionately affect people of color, would that be a racist policy?
So there's two different sort of measures currently. One measure finds that white Americans are most likely to be resistant to getting the vaccine. And then there's other data that finds that Black and Latinx Americans are the least likely to be vaccinated. And so as a result, it's hard to say. But what I will say is, to me, the actual problem isn't the vaccine mandates. The actual problem is when you actually study those, particularly Black and Latinx people who aren't vaccinated, you actually talk to them, we're finding that a lack of accessibility to the vaccine for a whole host of reasons is actually leading to them having a lower rate, while with white Americans, it's more or less the result of their political ideology.
Now, for all intents and purposes, I'm going to read out that question again because maybe it wasn't clear on the video. And I'll also read out Ibram X Kendi's remarks and his response to the question that he was asked. And I'll give my analysis as we go along. Please feel free to leave your comments and your own analysis in that comment section below. Y'all know I read all your comments and I respond to all of them. So please do leave those comments. It's massively important. And if you are feeling your boy, with all this information that I bring to you and you like what I do on this channel, I'm doing videos more regularly, at least every other day. Please drop a like on this video and do also consider subscribing. Thank you very muchly. Now, with that important spill out the way, like I always say, let's read these questions and, get straight into this analysis now, shall we? Now, the question goes as follows. It says, any policy or potential policy that would have a disproportionate racial impact is a racist policy. Now, he was quoting Ibram X Kendi, the guy that asked the question, and he said, so if that's the case, then would vaccine mandates that disproportionately affect Black people or color, would that be a racist policy? And Ibram X Kendi's first response was that, he actually was choking. So he answered the question, as you saw in that video. He then answered the question by saying, well, there's two different measures. One measure finds that white Americans are most likely to be resistant to get in the vaccine. Now, First of all, that's a straw man argument. That was not what was asked. Nobody's asking who wants to take the vaccine and who doesn't want to take the vaccine. It's a straw man argument, and that's a talking point for liberal mainstream media who want to classify white people as Trump supporters and white people as inherently racist when they're conservatives or right-leaning. That's basically liberal talking point. So when he's talking about white people, have you ever noticed that liberal media, when they talk about white people, they never include anybody from the left amongst those white people? Why? Because in their own particular mentality, according to this guy, those people are anti-racist. So they're not part of, white people. But generally, white people are inherently racist, except if you're a liberal or you're a Democrat or something like that. But anyway, he says that he builds that straw man argument, which is not the argument, the question that was asked of him. And then later on, he says, and then he further went on to say, there's other data that flying at Black and Latinx. I don't know who Latinx is. I felt it was Hispanics or Latino or Latinas, but he said Latinx groups are the least likely to be vaccinated. Yes, of course, that has been, asserted. I showed that right here from CDC website that only 10% as of September 8th of Black people, 17% of Hispanics have been vaccinated, right? As at September 8th. So there are more now, but, it's still disproportionately compared to white people that are over 60% vaccinated. So, there throws in a spanner in the works for his own argument there that he's saying that white people are more hesitant than Black people. Anyway, so he goes on to say, so as a result, it's hard to say. So basically, we are getting to the, heart of the matter. Imagine if Trump was the president. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't find it hard to say that these mandates, if Trump had put in mandates in place, which I don't think he would have, but if he had put in mandates, I'm pretty sure this guy wouldn't have a problem saying that it is systemic racism and that it's a racist policy. But then he went on to say, well, but what I will say is, to me, the actual problem isn't the vaccine mandate. Now, you see, he cannot say anything against the vaccine mandate. Why? Anybody that says anything against the vaccine mandate needs to be shamed. Don Lemon said that. Needs to be shamed. So if he says that, he's going to be shamed by Don Lemon. He's going to be shamed by the liberal mainstream media. And this guy has been promoted by mainstream media. His book sold because it was all over mainstream media. It was on CNN, it was on MSNBC, it was on The View. Every left-wing mainstream media you can think about. He's never going to show up on the right-wing mainstream media, not that I know of, not that I've seen, because they would ask him so much question. His brains will fart so badly you would think they built a sewer up in there. This guy cannot answer questions of logic against his principles. His principles will crumble. And this is a man without principles, because if you truly wanted to be saying that you truly believe that you're fighting for Black people, and you truly believe that certain things affect Black people disproportionately to white people, and so it is automatically racist, then you should be saying yes to this particular question. He doesn't believe in the things he's doing. He's just selling books. This is why a lot of people see him as a grifter, not the left-wing people that have fallen for his rhetorics, but a lot of people outside that, independents or whatever you want to call them, right-leaning, whatever, many of them see him as a grifter. And I'm beginning to see as well that this is exactly what he is. This is the first time I'll talk about him on my channel. I've mentioned his book before, but I've never really talked about him. But this here is a sure, clear thing that when push comes to shove, the people that you are aligned with politically takes precedence over the people that you're supposed to be helping. And so, anyway, he says the actual problem is a lack of accessibility to the vaccine that is actually leading them to having a lower rate. Now, I totally agree with that. There are some research that have showed that, access to vaccines with Black and Latino groups is very hard, maybe because there are less pharmacies in Black neighborhoods. What you got to understand is this. For me, in my own personal opinion, I don't think that it's because of racism that there are less pharmacies in Black neighborhood. I just feel that patronage makes it less available, because when you talk about pharmacy, it's not a socialist run system. It's a business run system. And because it's business, they want to be places whereby people will patronize them. And so if people don't patronize them enough in certain neighborhoods, they're not going to put pharmacies there because it will be a wasted effort. A lot of drugs will be wasted and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of this thing that you need to consider before you start jumping into conclusion and saying that, this whole thing is racist. But based on his own rationale, he's actually making an argument for the very question that was asked of him. Based on his own rationale, he has said that anything that affects Black people disproportionate to white people or others is racist. So basically not having enough pharmacy and accessibility is already according to his own rationale, a racist policy to start with. They can't access it. So when you are now putting in a policy that would affect them disproportionate to other people, when you know they can't access the vaccine, according to him, what he's saying, well then, that's definitely, by his own rationales, racist. Now, what do I think personally about these vaccine mandates? I don't think that they are racist. I just think that they are dividing classes. So rich people, they can get away with whatever it is they want to get away with, but the poor people are the ones that are being, segregated, because majority of the people that don't have access to this are people that live in poor neighborhoods. It's not just black people, Hispanic people, it's Native American people, and it's white people who live in poor neighborhoods as well that are not having the access to these vaccines as much as people would think. And so before I conclude, I'm just going to say this. Ibram X Kendi is never, ever going to say anything against the vaccine mandates. Why? Because if he does, he'll be branded an anti-vaxxer. And once he does that, his career is over. His career would be over. I'm pretty sure he'll be fired from the university where he teaches, and also he'll probably not be able to sell any books. So he can't do that. That's why he pretty much had a brain fart while being interviewed. Like I always say, I'm not saying anything about the vaccine. I'm not making any claims or about the virus. I'm just saying, guys, this is all about policy making and what people feel about the policy. So if you want to know about the vaccines or whatnot, go and consult your doctor. They will be in a better position, and those experts to actually tell you how to go about your business and how to go about your life. But anyways, you guys, I want to thank you guys for checking out this one. I didn't really want it to be this long, but when you do it in this format, of course, it's going to be a little bit long. But I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to be seeing you again real soon. Take care of yourself, and, have a great rest of your week. Weekend's almost here. So I guess from me, it's peace and Sayas out of here. Catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye now.